Jesus Christ, another free-to-play Battle Royale game? Surely people have had enough of— oh my god! The guys that made Paladins have now made a class-based Battle Royale game that apparently a large chunk of you are really interested about. Now here's the thing that I am interested in. With the right change in configuration files, this game can work, somewhat, in PCs that are even too weak for Fortnite. So, how does that work? Welcome to the LowSpecGamer, a weird corner of the internet where I explore ways of dropping game graphics on modern games until they work way under their minimum requirements. So forget about high resolutions and detailed textures, because we're making this game run. Let's get started. Realm Royale is a weird game in several ways. Many of the settings in the game only go down to high, and no lower, probably because this game is an alpha, and the whole thing is built on Unreal Engine 3 rather than 4, something I have not seen on many games released this year. This can turn into an advantage for us as the game will have better base performance on low-end systems and will be easier to tweak. The main configuration file is located in your Documents folder, called RealmSystemSettings, and the very start of the file has most of the variables that we will need. Detailed instructions and full configuration files are in the description, but let me show you some of the most interesting changes. Decals, for example, like the effects that stick to walls when you shoot them, can be disabled completely by setting a group of decal variables to 0. Lights are another interesting one. On the lowest settings, dynamic shadows are disabled and, at least on the characters, replaced by black blobs that cannot seem to be easily removed. However, plenty of other objects in the map still generate shadows. By disabling dynamic lights and other secondary lights, you can get rid of all of those, although the game looks a bit darker as a result. If you're looking for a quick boost, this is one of the most effective tweaks. Do not touch directional light maps though, that is going a bit too dark. If you want to play with the game's resolution, the settings has a very good resolution scaler that only goes down to 50%, and the screen percentage variable on the file allows any arbitrary value. This only affects the 3D elements and not the text, which makes it a more compelling option than just changing the entire resolution of the game. And you can go pretty wild with this if you so desire. You can count the pixels on the buildings in the distance. But if you like extreme measures, you can reduce all the min LOD size, max LOD size, and max LOD size texture packs on the texture groups to 16. To force textures to their absolute lowest. That can help a ton on integrated GPUs that lack dedicated video memory. Values lower than 16 only seem to reset to default. And you might want to use values just a bit higher, as the lowest can cause ground glitches that look pretty hilarious but can make it really hard to play. In terms of performance testing, since there's no official word on a Switch release of this game, I was curious to see if I could take it on the go on the GPD WIn 2 handheld PC, powered by an M3 and Intel HD. So I used all the adjustments and an internal resolution of 50%. I was surprised when the game almost hit 60 FPS. And sometimes more. In fact, it only seemed to drop dramatically when walking through areas that were all glitched out. Just by using a lower internal resolution and some of the most conservative changes in lighting, I am confident that this device can run the game without needing too much of an extreme change. So, let's go lower. Given these encouraging results, I was curious to see if, with a lower internal resolution, I could get away with trying this on an Intel Atom-powered miniature PC. The GPD Pocket. So I apply all the previous tweaks and reduce the internal resolution to 10%, and oh boy. After hitting the ground, the game managed to somehow stay over 20 FPS, and you're almost able to tell what is going on. I guess I can call that a success. So, there you have it. If you absolutely cannot run Fortnite, or you are not sick of Battle Royale games and are looking for an alternative take on this genre, you can use some of this knowledge to get you started. And speaking of knowledge, have you ever considered that between those intense sessions of Fortnite, Realm Royale, or whatever you're doing, you should learn a skill? Maybe something creative, since playing Battle Royale games all day might not be as internally fulfilling as you expect. One word. Skillshare. The best place online to learn new skills. There's already a number of free tutorials to begin with, and unlike Fortnite or Realm Royale, your experience does get much better in Skillshare if you actually spend money on it. I can help you with that, because you can get 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free with this link, which is also in the description. So, what are you waiting for? Thank you to them for sponsoring this video, and thank you if you help in Patreon.